Hey, are we live? We are.
Testing 1, 2, yes.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome to Core Group Resources, our second ever webinar here in February. We are going to hold for just 1 minute while we wait for more people to join. We've got a good amount of folks already on, but we want to make sure that we get, as people are straggling in, before we get to the meat of our content. So we're going to hold for just a second. We'll be right back. All right, that's all the time we're going to give them. Welcome to our webinar, How to Solve Maritime and Offshore Crewing Issues During COVID-19. I'm Bob Sutton, the Vice President of Values here at the Core Group Resources, and I've got our CEO, Matt Berman, along with Eric Baldacci, who is the, what is your title, Eric? VP.
Crewing offshore, yeah.
Cool.
Recruiting.
Well, before we dive into the meat, just Matt and Eric, give us the 30-second, who are you, how you got to be on this amazing webinar today?
I'm Matt Berman, founder of Core Group Resources, and we focused on maritime recruitment and recruiting over the last 10 years and have worked with a lot of vessel owners around the world, both in North and South America and in Europe and Singapore. We take pride and passion in helping people find opportunity and helping vessel owners achieve their crewing goals and solving complex issues. In particular with COVID-19, it's been a special year, so looking forward to getting into that with you guys.
And I'm Eric Baldacci, 8 years here at Core Group. How I'm sitting in this chair right now is just through a lot of work. We just kept going through ups and downs, and obviously we've been through some downturns, and then now COVID-19, and still here because I think we provide just customer service to both the candidates, the clients, do everything we can to help people advance in their careers and in companies, help them find the max profitability. And we love what we do, and putting people back out to work, and the crewing is especially fun because it's fast paced, high intensity, and the reason we're here now doing it is because of this 8 years in this space and experience and understanding the needs of the customers.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, glad you both are here in our studio here at Core Group. Well, yeah, so really the meat of this webinar is going to be around digging into crewing issues. One of the reasons why I'm excited to host this is because from my background, I have no experience with crewing. It's not my. I've been in recruiting for a long time, but the maritime and offshore space is. I've been a part of Core Group for about a year now, but I'm still learning, and there's a lot to learn. So learning from two of the guys who know this industry the best, and so I'm going to ask questions. Some of them are going to be maybe a little bit shallow. Hopefully we'll get to go deep as well. But my role here is to be as vulnerably stupid as I normally am, to dig up some, for others who maybe like me, are still new to maritime and offshore who might have questions and want to know, how we go forward, especially if you're in your HR role, if you're a hiring manager at a firm coming out of college, and if you don't know that much about maritime and offshore and how crewing is impacted, you're in the right place. So as we start off, let's go back to pre-COVID, and Eric, you wrote a blog not too long ago that kind of outlines the ways that COVID has impacted crewing and the offshore maritime industry. Let's go back to kind of what are the components of the maritime offshore industry and how they were functioning normally. There, I got that out. So yeah, the components that, obviously there are a lot of moving pieces. So obviously there are a lot of those, and then talk about, and then we'll move into how things pivoted into COVID and how we impacted those. So get the highlights of the different parts of the maritime and offshore industry as far as let's break down the different pieces. That's a big one. Yeah.
Well, I think if it comes down to crewing, pre-COVID, there was accessibility around the world. You could get mariners from around the world to work on any of these vessels for the most part, as long as they were certified to do so. Travel wasn't an issue. And there was probably a steadier, you'd have issues come up where someone's sick or someone had family emergency or whatever it might be. But now it's just a totally different story. So I think before we would get some rapid crewing requests where, hey, I need someone, usually we had several day heads up to maybe 2 weeks. And now sometimes it's 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah.
So I think before the accessibility and their option, the crewing manager's options of who they can grab, who they can go to, and get someone almost from anywhere around the world, their options were much more expanded. Whereas is now, because of travel restrictions and other things, it's a tighter market.
Got it.
Yeah. It's prior to doing was pretty much Jones Act crewing and international crewing it's always a demand and need, but when a lot of the nationalities were blocked out, a lot of Filipino crew couldn't travel to Europe, vice versa from Europe to the Far East. It's created a lot of disruptions, and so you're talking with people trapped in country. It's created all kinds of issues, and it actually created some out clauses too for companies to be able to cancel contracts and things like that. So we were able to help fill in a lot of the crewing gaps in that chaos management by setting up what we call the force recon crewing desk for rapid response for vessel owners, and that's how we were able to add value.
So it sounds like the speed is a major component. So we talked about a little bit about what we've done prior to this year. Obviously, offshore drilling has been majorly impacted. So let's move into now. Move into this past 10, 11 months. Let's talk about first of all, what happens when what are the things that cause a ship not to be able to sail? Like what obviously someone comes down with COVID or something, but where do those pain points happen? Who gets notified first? Like how did that, talk me through, like, okay, this is what went wrong, so now there's a problem.
2 years ago we get all kinds of requests here, and 2 years ago we had a request, master mariner and a chief mate put their notice in on Christmas Eve, and as they did that, the vessel can't sail, and if the vessel can't sail, you're paying wharfage fees, you're not being able to charge a day rate. It gets really expensive really fast, and so Eric and I got the call and were able to identify a master mariner, and chief mate within 2 hours that were in the port of call for that particular vessel. And so we were really able to do a really quick crewing response with one boat contractor and also a direct hire crew member. So we've done things like that. We've also been able to do rapid turnarounds. We had a client of ours who puts everyone in 2 weeks to quarantine, and someone snuck a significant other into the hotel and basically compromised the entire ship's crew. And so we had to switch an entire vessel crew out in a matter of 24 to 72 hours based on that particular issue. So I think what we do for companies is we just defend their ability to operate and bill their clients through our response capabilities.
Got it. So so you mentioned having to solve essentially a crisis on Christmas Eve. What are some other stories that you can share? I'm sure we probably can't share much about the names of clients and that sort of thing, but as far as like particularly unusual circumstances that take place over this year that we've been issues and problems we've been able to solve, staffing and crewing that we've been able to fulfill.
I think Eric's done a great job, and I'll let him expand on this. But we not only do we offer crewing services, we offer flag state certification upgrades. We help with getting certs in place. So we've kind of become a certificate organization. I mean, can you expand on that, Eric?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the issues, especially offshore, because of the oil and gas downturn, the slowdown, people were laid off. People with valid certificates to go offshore oil and gas, that's shrinking. It's expensive for them to do, obviously. So we're constantly working to make sure they have the correct certificates. If they don't, at least provide an avenue to help them so that they are hireable, and obviously so that we can service the client. Licensing, as Matt was saying, the foreign flag licenses, all these vessels, we deal with a lot of U.S. Mariners at the moment. And so, we can turn that around, and, it just depends on how active the candidate is. But, in just a few hours, we can have them their foreign license so that they're able to go on these vessels. We've really worked out the kinks. I mean, they keep popping up because things keep changing with what clients want as far as to deal with COVID and the cruise travel and all that sort of thing. And even the licensing and requirements and certificates and trainings that they want are constantly changing as well. Something that the client didn't want a month ago for the same job, they want now. So we're constantly just trying to stay on top of that, keep everything current, keep a pool of active people that we can keep them working, and then also rapidly respond to the client.
Yeah. And what we've also done too is we've built out in our database an app environment that allows us to pre-crew our clients' vessels ahead of time with certifications that might be between jobs or spot jobs, which allows us to rapidly mobilize any crewing gaps that may occur for vessel owners anywhere in the world. So some companies use this right now to do what they call pre-pooling, which will pre-pool candidates on their behalf, which is a service we provide. And then pre-pooling also includes, making sure their certs are up to date and ready to go. So we become an insurance policy for vessel owners, just in case of, sudden crew dropouts or emergencies and things like that.
So for job seekers in this space, what's some advice? What's some steps you recommend for guys who maybe have some of the certifications but aren't sure if they have everything that they need. Yeah, what would you recommend for people in this space that maybe have not, been on a ship in the last, I don't know, 9 months or 10 months that want to get back out there? Yeah, what do you recommend?
They could definitely reach out to me, and I can go through with them what we're seeing from different clients, and obviously we'd look at their certs and see what they need. And sometimes it is, looking at it, hey, how many jobs do I have for your particular background, and would it be worth it for you to go out and take care of that? We're gonna offer the best advice we can, but we're constantly getting new opportunities, and I think just we can review their resume, review their certs, and see, just offer that advice and that guidance, and maybe point them in the right direction, figure something out. That's what we try to do here, is always try to figure something out so that it works. Never give up.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And I forgot to mention this at the very beginning, but at the end, we're going to do a little Q&A session. So if you have questions that you want to pose to Matt or Eric, you can write those in the chat. There's a chat feature here on GoToWebinar. You can just write in your question there, and we will address those towards the end. Want to make sure we get to all those. We've already got a couple that have come through directly. So yeah, question that I have for you guys is where do you see this going 6 months from now? How will vaccines and all of that impact what we're doing here at Core Group?
I think the first stage, the latest requests we've received are, people are prior to mobilization starting to ask for negative COVID results within, is it 48 or 72 hours?
Yeah, within 72 hours.
Yeah, so so you have to have negative results within 72 hours, which would kind of help cut down on travel costs for a crew to travel across the country to show up and then pop positive. And so that's one cost exercise we've seen. And then we've also seen, we haven't seen it yet, but I could see it coming down the pipeline is probably in the vaccine, in the vaccine records, they'll need to probably have their COVID vaccine pre-logged in their medical certificates. And that'll probably be coming, but I don't see that happening right now, probably towards the end of the year this year. They'll start requiring and requesting that.
Yeah, it's a list that I've started to compile when I have people reach out and say that they've been vaccinated. So that's something I can provide to the client. It's still up in the air. Travel's still tough in different places. They don't know where the vaccines are they effective on this strain or that strain, or South America or South Africa vaccines different than the UK vaccine. And so I think for now we're still going to see the ups and downs, and but hopefully it gets straightened out, and then we'll still be there in a position to continue to provide crewing, because that will still be, there's always still going to be someone who quits, someone who gets sick, someone who has a family issue, some special project that needs to be done. So hopefully what this does is just cement our spot in the marketplace, and we can really show off what we can do, and then continue to grow this and provide it to more people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm hoping that the vaccine rollout goes smoothly and we can all get back to somewhat normal. What advice do you have for those companies who maybe haven't used us before, either on the HR, for an HR person or someone who's in charge of getting their ships out to sea? and maybe are in need of getting crew ready in a quick turnaround. What's some advice you have as far as, and this is for both of you, but like, you know, engaging with a firm like ours can feel a little bit daunting, I guess. I mean, we try to be as approachable as we can because we are. But what advice do you have for someone who's experiencing that quick pain point that's never worked with us before, that might really need somebody and need them fast? What's the advice you have there?
Don't wait. Give us a call.
Yeah.
I mean, we're you know, the more heads up we get, the more you know, we're able to ask the questions and figure out exactly what you need and what you want, or what you're going to need, what you're going to want. Even if you don't have the need now, but you foresee it, let's get it in place where you say, I need these certificates, I need these certain people. We can build that out and be ready. You know, it makes it smoother. I mean, we definitely run through where we're running back and forth all day long, trying to get like one or two people on a hitch, because we don't know everything that the client needs or wants. And even the client, you know, the crewing person, any crewing person out there knows that they're sitting there going, oh yeah, I know, like every time I submit someone or turn around, departments ask me for this or for that, or this is expired, or it's not the right certificate. So if we can get that all smoothed out, it makes those rapid turns where, like for instance, Friday night, I got a text at 8:30, you know, trying to eat my sushi, had to get up and leave, but we had them, the candidate and the flights and everything done within 2 hours, so they knew that DPO was going to be on the job the next day. So you know, don't wait. Let's start talking about it and figure out how we can best serve you. And then as far as the candidate, same thing. We tell people, get your stuff to us. Let us package it, have it packaged, because we send the package over, you know, an email package, but we send it over to the client with as much of the information they need or they're requiring. And then if there's anything that we don't have, but we know we can get by the time you go on your hitch, if you're selected, we can make that happen. So yeah, don't wait.
Yeah, that 2 hours is pretty quick. It's a quick turn. So
Yeah, it's easier if we get a heads up. I mean, our contingency pre-pool crewing like service that we offer vessel owners is, it's there, it's available. We usually get the call, you know, when they hit the back gate and suddenly there's an outreach and we've got to turn in hours and burn time through a weekend and things like that. So it's much less expensive to use our services in foresight than it is asking our team to burn the midnight oil, you know, all the time. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just our ability to be a contingency in an insurance policy for crewing managers, you know, so they can sleep better at night.
Something, Eric, I think you said this the other day when we were talking about prepping for this webinar, but like, you know, a lot of people come into, like me, come into the maritime or offshore industry with very no, you know, real first-hand experience of my own. And people often are put into, especially here in Houston, put into positions where they need to hire positions they never heard of. I didn't know what a route was until about a month ago. So it can feel daunting stepping into a new industry, no matter the industry, honestly. But you know, what as far as approachability, you know, what would you say to those kind of newer folks who are getting into the industry, maybe a few years out of college, but stepped into a place where they're involved in staffing and bringing in crew? What advice do you have there?
Wow. Well, I'm not sure what I said that was so special last time. Did you take notes that you could tell me?
Yeah.
Because I forget.
I think, well, just we go well above and beyond. I mean, we're not just finding people, we're actually doing certifications and flag state and, you know, requirement checks, things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that for anyone just getting into it, it's the research, it's the calling in to us to we're going to give you whatever information you need to help you as well to be successful.
It's the coaching and
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to if I can pass the knowledge on, I don't think that you're going to cut me out. I think what you're going to do is become a partner, and because you know you can count on me or our team. So it's, you know, we're not sitting here trying to prey on the naive or someone who's in a position who doesn't know what to do. No, I'm going to coach you just as much. I'm going to give you all the information. I have a client who their whole crewing and the HR team changed out at the beginning of the year. And they started asking me questions of what their company does, how their company does it, what does their company pay, what does their company want, you know, and I knew their company and kind of the process that they were looking for more than they did, just because they were new to that position. And I held nothing back. We had a long meeting, and I told them, okay, here's what you should expect. Here's what your hiring manager's like. Here's what you guys are supposed to do, at least from what I know from what was done in the past. And I'm going to pass on all the knowledge to help give them the tools, so they're just as successful, because I think long run it'll make a better partnership. You know, if they're able to find people, but then sometimes they're going to need my help. So I'd rather them do it right and help their company than struggle and they're going to fill it anyway, but struggle. You know,
Yeah,
I just don't.
That, well, you hit on it without my prompting. You hit on it anyway. So good job. Something that you said, a direct quote, was, "We don't prey on
naivety."
Naivety, that's the word. That we're here to coach through. And so, you know, I think that's we're here to help you through it. That's kind of the point, I think, there. So a couple of other things that actually, Matt, you already talked about one of these just real briefly, but we can get into a little bit more. Yeah, tell us about I guess, let's talk about the golf outing first, because I think there's more.
The core group resources, our first annual golf outing is going to be on March 29th. We currently have 75 golfers. We have limited capacity at 72 there. Actually, that's a change from today. It's now up to 124 golfers. So, and that's every maritime and offshore company in Houston and around the country that's going to be at this. And it's benefiting Mercy Ship. So whatever money we're able to raise at this event, the delta of that, less the cost of the event, will go directly to Mercy Ships crewing fund.
What is Mercy Ships?
Mercy Ships is a nonprofit organization that provides hospital care for people in third world countries doing elective surgeries all around the world, like cleft lip and different things like that. It's been close to my heart. My wife, I was a mariner by trade. My wife was a nurse. And so we actually looked at sailing on Mercy Ships as a mariner nurse duo over a decade ago. But we found out by having kids, there are all kinds of requirements to commit for long periods of time. And we were too deep into the kid game. So the way we can give back is just by pooling our network together to do business together while raising money for Mercy Ships at the same time.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So I know, you know, if we did change the date to March 29th. So if you weren't able to go, maybe you can now. Check your schedule. The weather should be really nice, as opposed to next Monday. It's supposed to potentially snow here in Houston, which is why we've had to postpone, which is just unbelievable. And then I know also, if you go to our website, you can find, actually we'll include a link to the golf tournament website on our site. It's kind of hidden back there, but you can also make donations. You don't have to play golf. If you want to donate directly to Mercy Ships, we can help facilitate that too. Next, the core group app. Matt, you alluded to this earlier. Talk to us about what the core group app is and what it does, and when we can expect to see a major rollout for crewing.
Yeah, so our app environment is designed so that the workers, seafarers, and people looking for work can upload their profiles via iOS or Android, and we can build out worker profiles against vessel needs. So we can actually pre-pool vessel crew against your particular asset. So we have the ability to create billet job positions around your particular assets, and then we can pre-pool crew ahead of time. And so that's an insurance policy for crew managers to manage any rapid crewing response from the cloud via our network. And so that's going to be going live this month. This has been like a 2-year project coming to fruition. So we're excited to deliver this to the market just to really help crewing managers and mariners to connect faster through our network.
So I see it. It's on the App Store right there.
All right. Yeah. So we just went live this week, so it's for the first time.
Game that's
Yeah.
as a little sponsored ad.
Yeah.
There it is. It's live. So I need to go ahead and download that.
Yeah.
There we go. Unmuted. Okay. I just unmuted myself. I'll say that again. It's available on the App Store now. Look at that. I'm downloading it right now.
Yeah. So we've just gone live with it. We've worked most of the quirks out. I'm sure there's more to come, but we're really excited to see how this will add value to our client base.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so left. It's 12:32. We've left a little bit of time here for Q&A. So we did have a few questions roll in. Again, if you have questions for Matt or Eric, send those in. We're happy to answer as much as we can in the time we do. We don't want to waste anybody's time, so we're going to get to it. I'll throw this one to Eric. How do you make sure your candidates will be the right fit with so little time to search?
Okay, so typically we already have pools of candidates. So if I get a call in saying I need a DPO or an engineer or whatever the position, typically we've talked to, worked with, had them work for clients in the past. Obviously the certs is a big thing as far as that. As far as personality on the rig or a vessel, obviously there's always wild cards. We can't control everything, but we do work to, vet these candidates. And while we're vetting them and we're talking to them and asking questions, we're kind of, seeing what the responses are, how they handle different situations. So we have lists of active contractors that we've worked with or had worked with or know people who've worked with them. And so that's one thing. But yes, if we ran into a situation where all our contractors are out and we get a call and have a need and have very short notice, we're going to let the client know that, okay, they fit what you're asking for. We do background checks, we do drug screens. That's all something part of the employment, and we do that, and they're rapid. So even if I had a brand new contractor and client wants that person, still needs them there in a day or two, we always background check them. We always drug screen them. I've had people driving to the airport, like we're on the phone trying to find from their house to the airport, where is the rapid drug screen place they can stop at, and they go do it. And as long as they pass, obviously they then get their airline ticket. So to guarantee that someone will fit in with a crew, that's a pretty tough guarantee, but we do our best to vet personalities as well as certificates and that sort of thing. And that's what we do for our permanent positions. I mean, a big part of what we do for anyone looking to hire a permanent employee is we're trying to get to know you, trying to get to know your department and your company, and so that we can vet that through intuition and through questions and through all kind of how the person handles themselves. So there's obviously no guarantees on that, but we try our hardest.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is like the $1 million question is how do you actually find people? Like what do you do differently than a company searching on their own?
So, I mean, most companies within their departments, if it's a contract rapid crew, they're going outside. It's a contract temporary employee, so they're using agencies. So I'd say more what differentiates us from an agency on a rapid crew is the pools that we've built. A lot of times people say, oh, you have access to all the same people. We do, but there's a lot of times where I'm running across contractors who aren't being contacted by these other agencies. They're not working for them. So we do have pools of that. We've also been doing some things with with some artificial intelligence programs. We've been a test case for a very large company that specializes in that, and so they're helping us out with that. I think we have probably more tools, and Matt is very good about technology and trying to stay on the leading edge, the front edge, and I believe I would be surprised if anyone has the capabilities we have, in addition to the relentless, marketing we do and the relentless, going out there and trying to build these pools.
Yeah, and we actually have another question here from Ingo, who asks specifically, do you have any resources that delineate the ever-changing national and local requirements for international mariners coming into the U.S. for crew relief? In other words, what may the U.S. Coast Guard require from such personnel as proof of evidence that they are free of COVID-19? Thank you. Yeah, so that's a very good question. In the middle of COVID-19, it was a war zone, so everything was changing on almost like month to month. Could you travel intrastate? Could you travel internationally? Travel restrictions, everything was changing. Nobody knew what was what. And I had some friends in the Coast Guard that were classmates of mine that I would call and say, all right, hey, what's the intrastate travel? And this is just inside the US, this isn't even international. No one knew the answer, but if you go to the US Coast Guard website directly, they are pretty good at updating whatever changes. And it's literally from a federal level, the latest and greatest updates. And as soon as it's written and published, then it becomes kind of a policy and law extension. So checking out the US Coast Guard updates directly on their site is like the best path for those changes as they shift. Because there's a lot of hearsay, right? There's a lot of rumors of what you can and can't do, and everyone's kind of feeling their way through the dark. And the Coast Guard does a terrible job of marketing their policy updates. It's like it's posted literally on one website, tucked somewhere in the internet, and hoping everyone finds it, and they don't push it out. And so you have to go find it. And
it's not just the Coast Guard, right? You have to, what does the US allow for you to enter the country? What does the client? The client has their procedures as well. And I mean, I don't think we have anyone who's not doing quarantines. So sometimes they'll rapid test you before you come. Sometimes they'll rapid test you when you show up. Sometimes they're rapid testing you while you're in quarantine multiple times. So, it's not just the Coast Guard that we run up against for that.
Here's another question. Who are we able to work with? I know that's been a question in the past. Like, do we work? I mean, is it all smaller companies? Are they mid-sized oil majors? Like, who are we able to work with those companies? Matt?
We have another question that just came in here.
I know, I
So
just asked you a question.
Yes, we're able to.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm
Thank
more
you.
interested in the outside questions now.
This is a
No,
real
that was an
question.
outside question.
Are we insured? Are we able to work with oil majors?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. We work in the high risk pool environment, so.
Okay, thank you.
We had another
Question
question come in here. I'm looking for crew placement and staffing services to provide U.S. crew to U.S. flagged vessels, yacht supply vessels. We're looking for someone to act as an offshore service provider employer. Are you only providing U.S. crew? Right now, yes, but we do have the option to provide international crew. We just have to take a look at each case by case. We do have the ability to crew foreign vessels. It's just we have to take a look at the nationality requirements, and it's literally flag state by flag state review on that. Do you operate as an employer, such as commercial crewing like V-ships, Triton, where you act? Yes, so we do act as the employer for our crew members currently. Right now, they're, again, we look at it case by case. We can do crew management fees if it's required by the vessel owner to employ their crew directly, and we charge a monthly fee for that. But we also have the ability to payroll wrap crew members as well by our services. The next question, do you see a transition from commercial seafarers transitioning to the yachting market? That's an interesting question. The yacht world versus the commercial world. Going from yacht to commercial is kind of it's pretty tough.
That's tough.
It's very tough for the yacht guys to cross over. I think the view is you haven't done your time, on a true ship mentality, and so there's always some resistance there. But it's also a vessel type too. So if you don't have exposure to tankers and hydrocarbons, and you don't have the PIC endorsement to get on board, and just it's a regulation monster to get on board tankers and large unlimited tonnage vessels, and mostly the yachts are limited tonnage, so there's a tonnage gap there that occurs. Transitioning from the commercial to the yachting market, I do see it sometimes. Not that often though, right? I mean, people will go to the yachting market if the commercial market is down.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that. What have you seen?
I just don't see it that often. I wouldn't be able to give you a good answer on that.
They can, because they're going from unlimited to limited tonnage, so there's downgrade options. But it's the lifestyle, 28 days on or 3 months on, 3 months off. It's tough to,
And when you get, like Matt said, once you're in there transitioning to the commercial side, if that's their ultimate goal, it's probably a tough decision for them to make. But yeah, I don't follow that really that closely.
Yeah, these are all really good questions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think our market glean for crewing is just that. We see where the walls are. If you're a container guy, you're on container ships. If you're a dry bulk guy, a bulk carrier, you're on bulkers. If you're offshore construction, you're offshore construction. If you're drill ship, you're drill ship. If you're tankers, you're tankers. If you're OSVs, you're OSVs. It's all tunnels. So that and there's barrier to entry in there. So any more questions?
I think we got all of them that I saw come in. If you have more questions, this is exactly what you want to see. This is where you go to for questions. So you can email just to the company. Our general information is the opportunity email there. If you have more specific questions about crewing, and go to Eric, go to Matt, go to me. We're all here. Feel free to reach out. We'd be happy to connect if you're either looking for a job, or if you're in the place where you want to have a service provider at hand and on the ready for your next ship and next hitch. Let us know. We'll get that set up. And yeah, I think it's 12:45. We've hit our time, and give you 15 minutes to go eat your lunch and get back to work. So thanks everybody. We really appreciate you joining us. And Matt, Eric, thank you as always for your time, your expertise. Yeah.
Thank you for listening and joining today.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.